Hey everybody! Today I'm going to be reviewing the movie for Hidden Figures. This movie was directed by Theodore Melfi, who also wrote it along with Alison Schroeder, and it's based on a book by Margot Lee Shetterly. This movie stars Taraji Henson playing Katherine G. Johnson, Octavia Spencer playing Dorothy Vaughan, and Janelle Monáe playing Mary Jackson. It also has some great performances by Kevin Costner, Kirsten Dunst, and Jim Parsons. Now the story is about these three amazing women that were mathematicians, engineers, and programmers for the NASA project in the 1960s, early 1960s, to get a man into space during the space race with Russia. I love period piece films. I like seeing the production value of something that takes place during an era and it feeling that way, and this movie nailed that. I want to give props to Wynn Thomas for doing an amazing job with the production design. It felt like you were there down to the coffee mugs that they had. I mean, the smallest detail was really thought out. I loved it. Costume design was great. The overall look of the film, the cinematography was great. The directing, even though it was pretty standard directing, it supported the story. So in that sense, the directing was great. Nothing out of the ordinary that pulled you out of the story. It really focused on the story. This is a true story of these three women that had to fight racism and sexism at the same time to help NASA get a man into space. And they did an amazing job. And anything that they couldn't do, they figured it out. That's why I loved Octavia Spencer's character, Dorothy Vaughan, because when she saw the IBM computer come in and knew that her and her staff were going to basically get fired because they weren't needed anymore, because they didn't need human computers, they had an actual computer. She went and taught herself Fortran, and then taught all of her employees that. So when they needed to use the computer, they were the only ones that could do it. Very smart. I loved it. Which sets up one of my favorite scenes, which is this one, where you have kind of the mass exodus of Dorothy Vaughan and her crew leaving the West Wing. I think it was the West Side, but it was the far off wing where they kept them all for doing the human computer stuff. And they're doing like the nerd walk of power across the whole campus to where the computer is. That whole march was probably my favorite part of the movie, because it was like they not only overcame all of the stereotypes and sexism and racism, but you had a nerd. They're all nerds. They learn to program and they're needed by NASA, and they do this like proud march across the campus. I loved that part. That's my favorite part of the movie. Every character in this movie was played very well. I fully was invested with every character. All of the acting was great. It's hard to see a fault in this movie. I thought maybe at some times it would drag, and I didn't really feel that much dragging. I was invested the whole time, so it kept my interest. The only thing I would wonder about is how much of the movie did they dramatize that wasn't based on reality just to make the movie more interesting. And thinking about it, I can't really tell too much. They didn't do anything that seemed over the top or that can't happen. So I'm going to have to give this movie an A+. Now, I'm really shocked that I saw an A+ movie right off the bat. I mean, this movie came out January 6th. It's one of the first movies of the year for me. And so 2017 is looking great. January is usually the month you throw in your bad movies, and you might get one good one. And they started us off with an amazing movie. I truly think this is going to be one of my favorite movies of the year. The only thing that I'm worried about is because it came out in January, people are going to forget about it by December, and it's not going to be on people's top 10 lists. And I seriously think this is going to be one of those top 10 list movies. I'm having a hard time finding anything negative to say about this movie. It's something I would buy on Blu-ray. I keep telling everybody to go watch it. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I was surprised how much I enjoyed this movie. But tell me what you guys thought. Comment below and let me know. You can also hit the notifications bell so you can get notified of any new videos coming up, since the subscribe button doesn't count as much with YouTube. But subscribe anyway. So like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, and I will see you on the next video.